Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Scrap Your Scrap Thursday nights. So tonight I have a short video, but it's a very challenging one. So I just did a card kit that came with a bunch of stuff. It wasn't really a kit, it was more just materials and you kind of had to throw it together. What I had left over were these pieces. So I've got these flat circular stickers, a couple of pieces of pattern paper, which were actually the back of one of the cards, and two rub-ons. So I am tasking myself with using as much of this as I can in my final card because I was able to make 11 cards out of the kit, and I had to use one of the cards for mounting rub-ons for those cards and for card backing. So I ended up with 11 out of 12. The kit was only supposed to make 8, so I did fairly well, but I want to make that 12. So I have myself a card base and I have a piece of regular cardstock, and I'm gonna try to pull together some kind of a card using these little bits. Now I'm gonna straighten this up right off the bat because it's kind of all kinds of jagged, and I don't see how that will work in anything I plan to do. So I'm just going to try to trim this so that it's just one piece for now, and we'll see where we go from there. So first of all, with rub-ons are very flat, and I don't mind them if I'm doing backgrounds, but if I'm using them as focal pieces, I need to put them on a cardstock. So I am going to first mount and fussy cut these rub-ons. So let me just, and sometimes I include the little dotty bits around it and sometimes I don't. I probably won't this time because I want a clear cut butterfly. And I'm just getting out my rub-on tool, and then I'm also going to do this. Okay, so I just rub that down to get it started, and then give it a good press, and I rub as I pull, and that seems to give me the best of the rub-on world. I'm going to turn this one around, get my fingernail under there, and rub as I pull. This one I do want to get all the little bitty bits because I'm going to mount this like a title. So if I miss anything, I just go back and push it down and re-rub it. Now, sometimes your rub-ons are sticky afterwards, and it's a good idea to unstick them because you don't want them to stick to the inside of the envelope. So I just use a little bit of dusting powder that I would use for when I do embossing, and I just run that over the top, and then I wipe it off. And that seems to do the trick, so nothing is sticky and it's not going to catch on anything. Alrighty, so let's cut these guys apart. And I'm going to leave that one for a second. This one I am going to cut very, very close because he is going to be a focal item. And when I'm doing my fussy cutting, I am moving my paper, as you can see. That helps me to be a little bit more accurate, and it helps me not to get a cramp in my hand. And with the antenna, I just leave a little bit of white around that. and just blunt off the top there so it doesn't catch on anything. Alrighty, so that's the first guy. So he is now something I can put pop dots on. So I have a few things here. Now this guy I'm going to cut like a title, so I need my cutter. And hopefully I did a good job at the bottom. Not a great job, but so I am going to straighten this up a little bit. So it's and now I'm going to line it up with that new straightening of the line that I did. 1/16 of an inch there, 1/8 of an inch. And hopefully, oh, I need to get a bit more off there. So I just keep trimming until I like what I see. Maybe a little bit more inward and a little more off the top. There we go, thinking of you. And it's somewhat straight. Not really. This is where I get hung up because I get fussy. And let me just trim this a little bit better. There we go. So when I trim that, then I've got to trim all 4 sides again. So that I feel that it's straight. There we go. And it's even more important for me for some reason when I'm using limited supplies. So that now is able to receive pop dots or whatever. And I think I went around the corners on this one just to give it a little bit of pizzazz. All right, and I'm using my small corner rounder on this because it's a small piece. All right, so there's all the garbage. Not sure if I'm going to use that other piece yet, so we're not going to toss that quite yet. All right, now this is, I like the fact that this is mute, but it's really super mute. So okay, well, let's kind of play around a bit. So I'm thinking something like this. I may put a circle. This guy I'm going to pop up a bit, so I separate his body. And then I just round up his wings. And I could have the wings go in either direction, up or down. You just have to be very careful when you're doing it that you don't, ooh, that you don't rip it. Alrighty, so now he's gonna play on that piece somehow. Or maybe that could go down there. That could be in the center. And I have some stickery bits. Now we're sort of hanging on the greens and oranges, and most of this is purples. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sticker and I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to stick half underneath the top of this and half underneath the bottom. So what do I want to do here? Okay, first of all, this is going to be pop dotted. And I think I want to just play on these corners a bit. I'm going to put 3 dots in each of the corners just to give it a bit more oomph. There we go. So as you can see, I've got the 3 dots in the corner. I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, so I think I need to do something. I don't mind this being square, but I think I need to round it like I rounded the corners of this, or maybe I'll do something slightly different. Maybe I will round like this. Oh. Like a label. There we go. So I've given it a bit of its own shape. And I'm going to go around the outside edge of this with a fine line of black, just to give it a little bit of oomph. And then this is the tricky part. Do the best I can. There we go. This is the most stress I have, is making my lines. Okay, and then that gives it a bit more pop. And we're going to put pop dots on the bottom of this guy. And I'm not sure where I really want them yet, so we are going to pop dot all of the parts. Move that up a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put glue down the center so that it forces it to pop up. All right. Put some glue down the center, just a little. And I'm going to push them down first in the center, and then just let the butterfly arms pop off. And then you've got this 3D sort of butterfly effect on this. And then I can pop this again if I like, or I can leave it flat on the card. Not sure what I'm doing there yet. This guy is definitely going to be pop dotted, so let me get my big dots here. And I probably don't need this much pop dot, but if it's going in an envelope, I don't want it to get crushed. So let's just pull these guys off. Oh, it's sticking to me. All right. So now, if I have this here like this, and that at the bottom, this is a very angular card, but I've got lots of angles, so that's fine. I'm going to put it, I think I'm going to overlap it there. So this guy, I also want to do lines on. And because it's a long distance, if I'm doing a short distance like that, I usually do it freehand, but if it's going to be a long length like this one is, I want to use a ruler. There we go. And I try to get it the same on both sides if I can. And then I'd like them to cross at the ends. So I have to do a little bit more here. There we go. And crossing at this end as well. Whoops. There we go. Alrighty. Just gives it a little more weight, takes it off the back of the paper. Alright, I'm going to glue this down about 1/2 inch from the side. Don't need a lot of glue. It's very light. There we go. Now I can put this here and that there, or I can put this here and that there. I think I like this better. Alrighty, so we have that. Actually, that might be a little low. I don't recommend you pulling your pop tops off your paper, but I didn't really push it down hard. So I want to get those half circles on there too. Got a numb hand today. There we go. This guy's going to go about 1/4 inch from each side, putting him flat. All right, now I'm going to take the top part of the butterflies and then the bottom part, and I'm using it as if it's a tag. Whoops, that's crooked. Good thing I have nails. Okay. Whoops, took a little bit of the paper off, but nobody will see it. There we go. There we are. And that's it. So that's how I create a card with some leftover bits. Now, I'm not liking the background. The background is too white. So what can I do with the background being too white? Okay, so I don't like the background being so pale. So I am gonna do a combination of some orange and some taffy. Splatter effect, and now I've got everything here, so what I want to do is I'm just going to mask off my title because I don't really want you know what, I think I'm just, because I've already got that on there, I don't know if I can get that off. Well, maybe I can. Carefully. Carefully. There we go. All right. All right, so this is going to be fine. I don't want to get it on that. This is down pretty permanent, so we are gonna be okay, have to be okay with. So I'm putting some ink on my pad and adding a little bit of water to that and finding my spatter tool. Now this carries a lot, so I don't want to fling too much. Okay, there's orange splatter. Now I'm going to clean that up. And it'll lighten up as it dries. Using one of my handy dandy cloths. I love building color in paper towels. And now we're going to do the pink. Make sure we have enough there. Put some water and mix it up. It's pretty wild pink, isn't it? So, I want to try and dull that down. Let's do a splatter on here first. Nah, I'm good with it. Okay, so alrighty. Now let's just wipe this guy down as much as possible. These guys. Alright. Clean up my mess. Wash that later. Alright, that looks much better. Now it feels like part of the actual kit. Okay, so we'll put those aside, and now we'll get the thinking of you back in place. I'm just going to put a dot of glue here because I ripped off some of the paper. And I'm going to just do this with my head in the screen a little, or off the screen, because I have to look over top. And there we go. Liking that much more. See, a simple little bit of ink goes a long way. So there you have it. Short video tonight, but I think it's rather effective. And we used up everything except for these little stickers. And those stickers I can put anywhere, or I can give them to a friend to use for their child. So I'm feeling very satisfied with this last card. Now I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy the video and you'd like to share it with your friends, feel free to do so. And don't forget to like and subscribe on the link below the video. Bye now.